So the scale of Optimus, like I said, that's really going to be something else. I think it's going to be the biggest product of all time by far. Yeah. So, like bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything.
When Elon Musk claims something will be bigger than the smartphone, your first reaction shouldn't be excitement. It should be suspicion. We've heard grand promises before, but here's what matters. Optimus V3 is something special. If a robot enters your home, the first thing you need isn't watching it dance, it's knowing where the off switch is. Because if you're 65 or older, living on fixed income, worried about falling in your bathroom, special doesn't mean safe, special doesn't mean affordable, and special doesn't mean ready for your home. This video analyzes Tesla Optimus V3 the way you should before considering whether a $20,000 robot deserves a place in your life. We're not selling dreams, we're examining what has to be true technically, economically, and legally for this promise not to collapse.
The problem isn't technology, it's trust. Retirees don't want robots for entertainment. You need three things: safety from falls that kill more seniors than car crashes, support with daily tasks so you can live independently instead of moving into assisted living, and protection from being scammed by technology that looks revolutionary on stage but fails in real conditions. When you're 74 and a robot hands you wrong medication or knocks you over, it's not a software bug, it's life-threatening. At the 2025 Tesla annual shareholder meeting, Musk made bold claims. Humanoid robots will become more common than smartphones, eliminate poverty, and provide medical care superior to the best surgeons. The vision could be right. The question is whether the timeline and conditions exist for this to become a mass-market product or remain a wealthy enthusiast's toy.
The hand. Why everything depends on precision, not power. Musk said, "Elon told me a few times that the hand is the most difficult part of the robot." Elon added, "This is just the V2 Optimus hand. The V3 hand is another level beyond this, exquisite engineering." Why does this matter? Household tasks don't require brute strength. They require precision and gentleness. A robot that bench presses 300 pounds is worthless if it crushes your pill bottle or tears your shirt while folding laundry. The difference between machine and helper is measured in grams of pressure, not horsepower. The human hand has 27 bones, over 30 joints, and intricate tendons allowing you to thread needles or grip hammers with the same appendage. Replicating that has been robotics' holy grail for 50 years. Boston Dynamics builds back-flipping robots, Figure AI creates factory machines, but none can peel an orange without destroying it. The difference isn't agility, it's fine motor intelligence. According to leaked specifications, the V3 hand reportedly features over 20 degrees of freedom per hand, with each finger moving, bending, and applying pressure independently. If accurate, this would be among the most advanced consumer robotics hands ever attempted. The design reportedly includes embedded fingertip sensors measuring pressure in real time, down to fractions of an ounce. This level of sensitivity is critical for elderly care. Think about the daily tasks that matter most to seniors: opening child-proof medication bottles without crushing them, picking up dropped pills from the floor without accidentally flicking them under furniture, helping you put on a cardigan without catching the fabric or pulling too hard on arthritic shoulders. These aren't impressive party tricks. They're the difference between living independently and needing full-time human assistance. The technology enables holding raw eggs without cracking shells, slicing tomatoes paper-thin, spreading mayonnaise with perfect pressure, or buttoning shirts without tearing fabric. But here's what matters more for retirees. Can it help you put on compression socks when your back won't bend? Can it thread a needle if your eyesight is failing? Can it open a jar of pickles when arthritis has weakened your grip strength? Industry sources suggest Optimus has been training extensively at Tesla's Palo Alto facility, watching YouTube tutorials, observing human movements, simulating actions virtually, then executing them in reality, making mistakes, analyzing errors, adjusting grip strength. Millions of iterations until achieving near-perfect performance. This sim-to-real training mirrors how Tesla teaches cars to drive autonomously, but applied to the vastly more complex domain of human hand dexterity. Here's the hook. Robot strength is easy to engineer. Robot gentleness separates toys from tools. If Optimus can't gently take your hand, helping you stand after falling, can't hand you water without spilling, it doesn't belong in your home. But here's the real test. Can it fold a fitted bedsheet? Because if a robot can master that nightmare task every human struggles with, then maybe the future has actually arrived. Fine motor control is only half the battle. Navigation is where things get exponentially harder.
From science fiction to your kitchen, the reality gap. For 50 years, movies showed robots effortlessly cooking breakfast. Reality? Your home is a technical minefield. Wet kitchen floors causing slips, sharp knives, fragile dishware, furniture that moves, pets underfoot, grandchildren's scattered toys. Machines navigating this chaos need more than vision. They need to understand what they're seeing and predict what's about to happen. According to Tesla's presentations, Optimus V3 runs what they call the AI-5 neural architecture, reportedly a next-generation perception system building three-dimensional maps in real time. It doesn't just see chairs, it understands they're furniture humans sit on. It doesn't just detect motion, it distinguishes between dogs wagging tails and children reaching toward hot stoves, recalculating paths in milliseconds. This is the jump from science fiction to something you touch every day: food, medicine, water glasses. Using camera and depth sensor arrays, Optimus continuously scans surroundings, creating detailed home layouts. It remembers furniture locations, knows room connections, navigates without bumping walls. The AI system is reportedly context-aware, distinguishing dropped towels from sleeping cats, power cords from garden hoses. If children suddenly run across rooms or dogs dart near feet, the system should instantly recalculate trajectory, maintaining safety and efficiency. This represents massive leaps from earlier robots relying on rigid, pre-programmed routes. But even Tesla admits this technology isn't perfect. Optimus V2.5 navigates controlled office environments, but homes where lighting changes, furniture gets rearranged, unexpected obstacles constantly appear, that's exponentially harder. Based on Tesla's roadmap, V3 is expected around Q1 2026, with V4 in 2027 and V5 in 2028. That's ambitious and expensive to keep up with. Which brings us to the number everyone's discussing. The $20,000 myth. What happens after you buy it? Musk stated that once Tesla produces over 1 million units yearly, manufacturing costs could drop to around $20,000 per robot. Let's be direct. $20,000 isn't cheap for Social Security or fixed retirement savings. And that's just the sticker price, not maintenance, repairs, software updates, or replacement parts. Questions Tesla hasn't answered. What happens when batteries degrade after 3 years? Will replacement battery packs cost $3,000? What if hand actuators fail? Will repairs cost $500, $1,000, or more? Does Optimus require monthly cloud subscriptions for voice recognition or security updates? Over 10 years, even $30 to $50 monthly fees add $3,600 to $6,000. And let's talk about what happens when technology moves faster than your budget can keep up. You buy Optimus V3 in 2026 for $20,000. 2 years later, V5 comes out with significantly better features. Maybe it can climb stairs safely. Maybe it has twice the battery life. Maybe it understands speech from people with hearing aids or speech impediments.
Does your V3 suddenly become a second-class citizen in Tesla's support ecosystem? Do software updates prioritize the new model? Do replacement parts for older versions become expensive or hard to find? This isn't theoretical. This is exactly what happened with smartphones, laptops, and even some electric vehicles. The early adopters pay premium prices, then watch as support and innovation shift entirely to newer generations. For someone on a fixed income who saved years to afford that $20,000 purchase, planned obsolescence isn't just frustrating, it's financially devastating. Here's the uncomfortable question. Who pays when robots malfunction and cause injuries? If Optimus loses balance and knocks you downstairs, is Tesla legally liable? Are you liable for inadequate supervision? Does homeowners insurance cover robot-related injuries? What if robots damage homes, broken windows, flooded bathrooms? Are you responsible for repairs? These aren't hypothetical concerns. They're the difference between real products and venture capital fantasies. Until Tesla publishes transparent total cost of ownership estimates, clear liability frameworks, comprehensive warranty details, and maintenance schedules with pricing, the $20,000 figure is incomplete information. Seniors don't buy technology for novelty. You buy peace of mind, reliability, and long-term value. You need assurance that $20,000 spent today means robots remain functional, supported, and safe 5 years later, not obsolete because Tesla moved to next versions.
The Fremont Plan. Demos are stages. Factories are promises. Musk outlined production that sounds delusional. 1 million Optimus units yearly at Fremont, scaling to 10 million, then 100 million, eventually 1 billion annually. But here's why this isn't just CEO talk. Anyone can build prototypes and demo at conferences. Very few companies credibly discuss constructing semiconductor fabrication plants to supply AI processors those robots require. Tesla announced building massive chip fabs because it cannot rely on external suppliers for computing power running millions of Optimus robots and self-driving vehicles simultaneously. This is vertical integration on scales only Apple, Samsung, TSMC have attempted. That capital commitment, willingness investing billions in manufacturing capacity, suggests this isn't vaporware. It's a decade-long industrial bet. Demos are stages, factories are promises, and Tesla is building factories. But it also means timelines exceed hype cycles. You won't see widespread availability in 2026. You'll see limited production, high prices for early adopters, machines tested in controlled environments. Based on production scaling timelines, mass market availability for retirees on modest incomes is more realistically 2029-2030. By then, technology will have evolved. Competitors, including aggressive Chinese robotics companies, will have entered markets, and competitive pressure will force both innovation and price reductions. Tesla isn't alone. That competition will push progress and also push prices down. The lesson? Be skeptical of timelines, but watch infrastructure investments closely.
Optimus will eliminate poverty. Hope requires more than robots. Musk made his boldest claim. Optimus will eliminate poverty and provide universal high income for all. It's stirring, almost utopian. Also, not a plan. It's a hypothesis depending on massive systemic changes. To eliminate poverty through automation, 3 things must happen simultaneously. First, economic value robots create must be distributed broadly, not concentrated among wealthy robot owners. Second, displaced workers must transition into new jobs robots cannot perform, requiring retraining programs and new industries. Third, governments must implement policies, potentially universal basic income or robot taxes, ensuring ordinary people afford goods and services robots produce. None of that's happening yet. Automation over 30 years increased corporate profits while middle-class wages stagnated. Technology benefits flowed overwhelmingly to shareholders and executives, not factory workers or retail employees. Here's the question for retirees. If robots do all work, where does money come from for ordinary people buying $20,000 robots? If pensions don't increase and Social Security doesn't pace inflation, who benefits? Tesla shareholders or 73-year-old veterans wanting help getting out of bed safely? This isn't pessimism, it's separating engineering achievements from social outcomes. Robots can eliminate certain labor types. Whether that leads to abundance or inequality depends on collective choices about taxation, ownership, and technology access. Musk's vision could be right, but vision needs infrastructure, policy, and distribution mechanisms to become reality. The good news, if Tesla wants mass market success, they'll be forced to address these questions. Consumer acceptance demands it. Right now, those answers don't exist, but the pressure to provide them will grow.
Safety, the 4 non-negotiables. Musk repeatedly emphasized Optimus must be completely safe before public release. He's correct because humanoid robots aren't comparable to Roombas. They're AI-powered machines with strength moving furniture, speed crossing rooms, height reaching shelves, and autonomy making decisions without constant supervision. Here are 4 safety layers any in-home robot must have, non-negotiable requirements. First, emergency kill switches accessible always, either physical buttons or voice commands instantly shutting down all movement. Second, force limiters built into every joint, preventing injury if robots contact humans, stopping movement instantly when detecting unexpected resistance. Third, clearly defined safety zones where robots are prohibited, bedrooms during sleep, bathrooms for privacy, staircases where malfunctions could cause falls. Fourth, night modes drastically reducing speed, strength, and range, ensuring they cannot startle you or cause harm in low-light conditions. But there's a 5th layer nobody talks about. What happens when the robot doesn't understand your medical emergency? If you're having a stroke and your speech becomes slurred, will Optimus recognize that you're in distress and not just tired? If you fall and can't speak clearly to give the emergency shutdown command, does it have backup detection systems? If you're diabetic and experiencing low blood sugar confusion, can it distinguish between you being disoriented and you simply forgetting something? Medical emergencies don't announce themselves with clear symptoms. They often present as subtle changes in behavior, speech patterns, or movement that even trained caregivers sometimes miss. A robot that can fold laundry perfectly but can't recognize when you're having a cardiac event isn't a helper. It's a potential liability during your most vulnerable moments. If I were buying one, my first question wouldn't be, what can it do? My first question would be, where's the off switch, and can I reach it when I need to? But even with technical safeguards, there's a deeper question. Who's legally responsible when things go wrong? If Optimus stumbles on rugs and pushes you downstairs, is Tesla liable? Are you liable? Is there shared liability? Does homeowners insurance cover robot-related injuries, or do you need separate policies that don't exist yet? These aren't abstract legal questions, they're practical adoption barriers. Until clear liability frameworks exist, until courts, insurers, and legislators establish who bears responsibility when autonomous machines cause harm, every early adopter assumes unquantified legal and financial risk. If you're a senior living alone, that risk magnifies significantly. Tesla needs answering these before first units ship, not after lawsuits, before.
Privacy. Your home, their data. To function, Optimus needs seeing, hearing, and understanding environments constantly. Its cameras and depth sensors map homes, recognize objects and people, track movements. That's how it knows you're pointing at dishes. But it's also how it records everything in your most private spaces: bedrooms, bathrooms, conversations. Tesla will say data's encrypted and processed locally, but is some uploaded for AI model improvement? Can you review data logs, delete them, disable cameras when wanting privacy, or does that cripple functions? If law enforcement requests recordings, does Tesla hand them over? Here's a concern specific to seniors. What if your adult children want access to recordings to check on you? That surveillance, even well-intentioned, fundamentally changes your relationship with your home. You're no longer living independently, you're living under observation. Once cameras are recording, the temptation for family, insurance companies, or Medicare administrators to request access becomes irresistible. Your privacy becomes negotiable when you simply wanted help folding laundry. Here's what you should demand: opt-in data sharing, where you explicitly choose what gets shared. Local processing with no cloud dependency unless you enable it. Transparent activity logs showing what robots recorded and when. Full privacy modes with cameras disabled even if limiting functionality. The good news? If Tesla wants mass adoption, they'll have no choice but to give users data control. Without those guarantees, Optimus isn't a helpful companion, it's surveillance infrastructure you paid $20,000 to install in your own home.
Let's return to Musk's claim. Optimus will be the biggest product of all time, bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. Achievable? Theoretically, yes, but only if 3 conditions are met. First, hands must be precise, gentle, and reliable, handling real household tasks safely, helping you dress, handing medicine at correct doses and times, managing wet bathroom floors. We need independent testing and real-world performance data. Second, safety systems must guarantee robots cannot harm you during failures. This requires kill switches, liability frameworks, and regulatory oversight. None exist yet in consumer robotics. Third, total costs, maintenance, privacy protections, and legal liability must be transparent and affordable for fixed incomes. The biggest transformations began with skepticism and hard questions. If Optimus succeeds, it's because Tesla delivered on engineering, prioritized safety, and earned trust through transparency. Here's what I need from you. Comment safety if your biggest concern is the robot physically harming you or malfunctioning. Comment privacy if you're most worried about cameras and data collection in your home. Comment cost if hidden expenses and long-term affordability concern you most. Your answers directly shape our next videos. If this helped you think critically, hit like and subscribe. Next week, Tesla's chip fabrication plans and what they reveal about long-term strategy. Turn on notifications. Until then, stay skeptical and demand transparency.